good day, good afternoon, or even grand rising, wherever you may be. It is today is a wonderful day because I have got one of my bestest friends and my soul sister, Cath Porter from Mandala Holistics, who is a Reiki master and who is my Reiki master. And it's been a couple of years that I've been wanting to get her on the show, but I've finally managed to get our diaries aligning and we are here. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce the wonderful Cath Porter to the stage. Hello, Cath!
Are you okay? Lovely to
Look at that hair. Look at how lovely to meet you. Never met you before. I love it. Look at the length of your hair as well, Cath.
I'm in the hairdressers next month to have it sorted out, but I'm still keeping my
Beautiful. It's high maintenance. I've had the rainbow hair before and it's really high maintenance, isn't it? But it's you. It's absolutely you.
And out to keep on well, so Steve ends up keeping the rainbow up to date. It's just once a year.
Absolutely. Exactly. Just get it like bleached up so that you can do your own colours onto it. That's literally what I do. It's so fun. It's like, give me a canvas.
Yeah, if I had to go and have it done in the hairdressers every 6 weeks, it'd just be worth
Exactly. And when you can do it at home, you've got the tubes, that'll last you months. Exactly. Anyway, we're not here to talk about hair, are we, Cath? No. No, we're not. We're not. Now, I first connected with Cath when I think I've told this story before. I was on Instagram one day and there was a chap playing. Now, I always forget the name. It's like a kettlebell. What are they called, Cath? Sorry.
Tank drum, I think, is what it's called. It's a posh word as well, but I can't remember what that is. It's a tank drum.
Yeah. And I was like doing housework and I thought, I'll put that on, I'll put it in the background. And I was pottering about and I thought, you know, the guys from San Diego, I should really jump on and say hi from Scotland. So I did. And then there was Cath as the next couple of comments, like, oh, hi, I'm from the UK. And then that was it. We just literally DM'd each other. And like we were discussing before, I think we maybe lost touch for a few months and then we totally connected and we've literally never, ever looked back. It's been amazing. And we personally met. I'm going to find the video of us meeting and I'm going to put it at the end of this video. I need to. It still makes me emotional. It is. It was like, boom, that was amazing. So you discovered me. I always say to people like you do that Reiki finds you, you don't find Reiki. And in came Cath to my life. She's seen the healer in me. She was like, even the way that you're texting people and your replies to people, you're like always happy, you're positive, you're keeping the light going. And I did see it myself, but I think you sort of need somebody else to kind of confirm it for you. Gives you like that, oh, okay, yeah. And then as we got talking, and then you attuned me, Reiki 1, Reiki 2, the Celtic Shamanic Reiki, which I absolutely adore and have completely, and just my whole life is just now shamanic. That's just the way. I'm not calling myself a shaman in absolutely no way. But the way that, you know, the whole nature thing, connecting with nature, working with the seasons, the medicine wheel, the drum, it's my life.
Feels right. You just know when you find
it does
like a jigsaw piece that slipped into place and you think that's what I've been
absolutely. And the people that are coming into my life and my soul tribe, and we're all singing from the same song sheet, and we're all, you know, it's a beautiful place to be in such a dark time of life, if you know what I mean. You know, we've got to kind of just keep spreading that light. That's why I do this channel. Absolutely. So how did Reiki find you? What was your story of Reiki?
I very first found Reiki probably about 20 years ago, but it wasn't the right time. It wasn't the right time. I was going to some classes and some Reiki shows, and she took me along, and I had Reiki, and I obviously couldn't give Reiki. It wasn't to share as such. It was more they were practicing on me. And one lady got to my throat chakra and said to me, "I think you've got an imbalance in your throat chakra." I was like, "You don't know me. There's nothing wrong with my throat chakra." But then I realised I was a little bit too open, if anything, because you've got to know as a healer, go up and listen as well. But at that point in my life, it wasn't the right time, but it was something that always stayed in the back of my mind because it did make me feel good. I couldn't describe how I felt because Reiki is very difficult to put into words anyway, but I knew that something had made me feel better, but then forgot about it, moved on with life. And then in 2017, I went touring America, and I was very fortunate that was able to travel coast to coast and then back again. And we went to the Grand Canyon and went to Sedona, lots of spiritual experiences. But I wasn't really on the path as such. But then I stopped drinking when I was in San Francisco. I had my last drink and I haven't drunk since then. I've been sober like for 7 years now. And me and my best friend who lives near me here, Claire, we used to always go to the karaoke every year for a little blowout for and go and get drunk and have a little giggle. But obviously we weren't drinking anymore. So we decided to do something a little bit different. And we saw advertised on Facebook that there was a soul walk. And in a soul walk, it was called, and it was a trip to the Lake District where you go into the woods and meditate and do yoga and then go for a little wild swim in the lake. It just sounded ideal. So I said, oh, go on, we'll do that. We'll give that a go. And there was also some Reiki in the cave as well, like a little Reiki shirt. So I thought, this sounds perfect. It's much better than going getting drunk at the karaoke. So I went, unaware that this was going to be a day that completely changed my life and put me on a different. So I struggled to have children, going back a little bit. And we were trying for years, me and my husband. And you've met Steve, so he's lovely, isn't he?
He's lovely. I love him.
Trying for 6 years and nothing was happening. And when I finally did get pregnant after a trip to Egypt and having the pyramids all to myself, but that's another story.
Wow. Yeah.
But I went into the local hospital to me. I was so anxious when I finally was pregnant. I kept thinking something was going to go wrong. So I went to the maternity hospital and a student midwife told me about hypnobirthing. So I came home and I bought all the information on hypnobirthing and I ended up hypnobirthing my child. He was 6 weeks early, but I was so calm that I gave him birth to him in 5 hours, no problems, everything done. But I was that calm. I believe that I was in labour. So when they finally did check me, I'd already crowned his head. So because as you know, there's nothing wrong with my throat chakra. I can waffle all day. But to cut a long story short, the hypnotherapy that I was doing, it was a form of meditation. And I was unaware of it at this time. But once I'd had my children, there was something missing from my life. So I turned to meditations on YouTube and I started to do some guided meditations because they were making me feel the same relaxed state that the hypnotherapy was. Obviously, there was things going on, changing my mindset with the meditations that I was listening to and the positive affirmations. So even though I wasn't really aware that I was doing it, I was already bang on my spiritual path. But this trip to the confirmed it for me because we were stood on top of a mountain. It wasn't like a big mountain hike with needing sticks and everything. It was a gentle slope, but we were on top of this mountain and I was looking out across the valley. And the lady who was running the soul walk said to us, could you please imagine that you are sat on a mountain top? And I thought, well, this is easy. Just imagine where I am. Closed my eyes, and for the very first time I'd been hypnotized and I'd meditated probably hundreds of times at this point, and this had never happened to me before. I was sat on the mountaintop, and then all of a sudden I was surrounded by it's hard to put it into words, a bright white light. It felt like I was sat in heaven. I was surrounded. There was nobody else there. I wasn't even on this earth. I was in love. I was inside love. It gets me quite emotional talking about this. I was inside love. I felt love. I felt like I was love. It was just hard to describe. All I know, remember anything about the meditation, just this feeling of love. And then I heard that Gita, the lady who was running it, start to bring us back and start to, bring us back into our normal conscious awareness. And as she did so, she said, there's an animal here that's got a message for you. And all of a sudden, this white light disappeared and I was sat on the rim of the Grand Canyon and I was looking out across a canyon, and it was just mind-blowing because I'd never been a really visual person, even in all my practice of meditation. But I was there. And this eagle come flying in and it come and sat at the side of me and I could hear Gita saying, this eagle's got a message for you. So I'm looking at the eagle and the eagle's looking at me. And I'm looking at it and it's looking at me as if saying, well, I can't talk. I'm an eagle. And I thought, I was just like, right, okay. So I come round and then Gita, the lady, said to me, I don't know what has just happened to you, but it was the most beautiful thing I've ever saw. She said, your face was the biggest smile I've ever seen. She said, and there was tears down your face. So I tried to explain as best I could what had just happened. And she said to me, what message did the animal give you? And I said, he didn't give me a message. He just blinked at me a few times because in my head I was thinking animals can't talk. And she said, I've got a message for you. What level Reiki are you at? And I said, I don't do Reiki. I said, I know what Reiki is because about 10 years ago, or a bit longer, I'd gone for this session. And she said, well, I've never met anybody in my life who needs to be doing Reiki as much as you do.
Wow.
the energy coming off you. She said the way you've been with all these people, a little bit like when I met you, Zoe. She said all of the you're responding to them, and people are trusting and have this connection with you. She said, and Reiki. So to cut a long story short, which I didn't, I went along, but I
love it.
found the Lake District in a meditation that I didn't know it was Reiki. But then as I went and learned, I realised that Mikawasumi was struck by this big white light. I knew what that was because I'd experienced
absolutely
a couple of weeks before. And his famous quote is that Reiki is love. And what I was surrounded by in that white light was love. Statement for how amazing and loving that feeling was, and that light.
Wow.
Yeah, literally like a lightning bolt hit me that day, and
wow, that's so amazing. Amazing.
It's a difficult story to condense because so much happened to put me on that
path. Of course. Wow, I can see it, and I can see you're still in that love bubble. Like, see, when you were actually telling the story, the signal went all funny because I feel you relived that so much that the universe went pshung again. Honestly, things like that happen. Wow, Cath, amazing. I think for me, I don't know, do you still do this? It's like we still doubt it because it's so amazing and the results that we see, and we're just the channel. People go, you're amazing. I'm like, no.
I say I'm a posh phone charger. That's how you've got to see me.
Yeah, I like that.
Posh phone charger. But how can you say so simple as laying our hands and just being a channel work miracles as we see it do every single day? There's nothing better than one let Reiki enter their lives and watch Reiki change their lives. It's one of the best feelings. We've got the best job in the world, haven't we? We work for the universe. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's not to say I have had a couple of clients, and I never disclose clients' information, but in a generic way, I've had a couple of clients that are like, I hear that Reiki can heal me, and I'm like, well, yeah, but you've got to do the work afterwards. You've got to keep the Reiki going, the whole high vibrations.
There's the person who you're receiving the healing from, and then there's the Reiki. All three are working together in harmony. If I'm not doing, I'm not a good channel, and by my job, I've just got to make sure that my chakras are aligned and balanced. That Reiki
exactly.
Off. Give me a second, sorry.
No, of course.
Yeah. So you've got to be a good channel to be able to let the Reiki flow. But it is the Reiki that is doing the healing. It's not the healer. The only person who I can look after is myself, as you know, Zoe.
Yes.
Person eyes on just the Reiki or just the healer, nothing's going to happen. Or if I'm not up and it's just the Reiki, nothing's going to happen. It's got to be three. It's a triangle. Let the power.
And then I've heard that Reiki doesn't work. It didn't work for me. And it's like, no, it did. You just didn't choose to continue that. It's like somebody going out drinking Monday to Friday, coming for Reiki at the weekend and doing their healing. And then they just go back to the pub on Monday expecting things to work. And it just doesn't work. So yeah, it is quite hard when we get people through the door that are desperately needing healed, and we're doing the healing, but we can see the issues and they kind of can't. I get a lot of people that are maybe stuck in the matrix. I see, so they've got the designer clothes, they've got the cars, they've got the money, the phones, the latest this, and they're wondering why their life's drama and why all these things are happening. And I'm just like. It gets frustrating, doesn't it?
When people come in and start to offload a story of a particular thing, like an argument or something that they're having with someone in their life, but realise that they're projecting themselves onto that person, and it's like we can see that as like how much reading and work we've done on ourselves that we can see this, but like that can't heal everybody, Zoe. Some people really don't
I know, and obviously us being healers, we want it, but what was it? A good friend of mine who's coming on, Just Another Monkey, Big Al, he said, obviously you can't lead a horse to water and make it drink, but he's like, what if the horse isn't thirsty? And I'm like, oh, I like that. And that's just like that person who wants to heal, but deep down they're not ready, it's not their time.
Become associated with the negativity or their illness. If it's an illness that they have, they sometimes personality around that and think that that is what they are. Not that's just a little part of them. And sometimes you struggle to move away because they feel trapped in a victim role or something, or this might give them an identity. And so it's the work that's needed inside and not the Reiki. Like, the Reiki's not going to do anything if they're not ready.
Yeah, that's what I feel. It's just they're not ready, or they don't see the issue that they're causing. And so it can be quite hard, and you've really got to broach what you say to clients, because you can't just be like, well,
We're not counsellors. We can't advise. We're here to help people, so people can offer. And it's quite difficult sometimes to not be the friend and want to tell you what I'd say, friend, because I'm not. I'm here as you.
Totally, it is. And we're empathic, so we will want to help people in situations, but being a Reiki practitioner, you just need to rein that in a little bit, as not being the
I suggest books or suggest things to watch so that they realise come to themselves personally rather than me.
Absolutely. Now, you've got quite I would say, a pull to the stones and the rocks of the UK and the world.
I want
like no, I'm intrigued, Yeah, like you've done this amazing tour of Scotland, where obviously we met up, which was amazing. You took your two boys, your hubby, and I'm just going to plug your book just now. It is Four of Us in a Mini by Cath Porter, Steve Quinnan, and Coleman Porter. Amazing wee read, and of course there's a wee chapter about wee me, so you gotta get it. It's a fantastic read, Cath. Honestly, it's fun, it's informative, it's spiritual, it's family orientated. It's not just for healers, it's not just for a family, it's for everybody, even if you're not traveling. Brilliant we read.
I never intended on writing that book, Zoe. That was just going on holiday. But the amount of people who messaged me personally for when I was putting pictures of the site or pictures of us setting up camp, or who said to me, I would love to do this, but I just wouldn't know where to start. Once they asked me the same question, I think that's a sign from the universe. So I think I've got to go where I'm sent. As you know, that's my motto. I go where. So that book was written. So many people needed that book because 3 people people were asking me for my itinerary. People were asking me for some tips on wild camping. People were asking for some tips on planning a route to see the stone circles. So I thought, right, I've got to do that. So that book wasn't even intended. I had no intention of that book, Zoe. That came back at the universe told me to do that one.
I remember you sitting in my garden saying, I'm going to write a book about this. And I'm like, brilliant. And like 5-6 months later, you're like, my book's ready. And I was like, what? It's like, she's actually done it. And it was published and I bought it. It was just, amazing. This is why I love you, Cath. I love it. So what's your second book about then? Is that more your guided meditations?
My second book is more a book of meditation scripts because, again, I didn't intend on writing that book, but I do have a YouTube channel with lots of meditations on.
You do.
It's the advert situation that on YouTube, isn't it? Because it's so annoying when you're trying to meditate and an advert comes in, and I've got no say over them. They're nothing to do with me. That's YouTube. So I'm thinking about finding another platform anyway. But they are at this moment in time on YouTube. And again, I had people who were messaging me privately and asking me, where did I get the script from? And I was like, well, I wrote the script.
Yeah, absolutely.
So once or 3 or 4 people had asked me, I thought, right, I'm just going to put on.
Fantastic. And can we get that on Amazon as well?
Yes, it's on.
Fantastic.
Probably share a link to it. So it's intended if you are a healer and you host meditations, so that you can just read it and guide your clients onto
Absolutely.
it. Or they have the Reiki, or if you're holding some meditation classes. About 22, 23 different scripts in there, all about different things. I've got 8 for the wheel of the year, 4 for the elements, 2. It's a big range of stuff in there.
Amazing. And you've got a great voice, because I was just listening to one before. I actually thought I could hear you on this because I was still listening to your YouTube videos. I can hear her. But no, your voice, it's just you've got a really calming voice. You're a good storyteller, and
Normally 100-mile-an-hour Tigger doesn't show up. Go from that.
Yep. Yeah, I've been commented on my voice when I've done a couple of guided meditations, especially from Craig, my Scottish friend, who ADHD brain cannot settle, and he's like, "It's just your voice." I think it's because he's Scottish as well, and it's like quite lulling to him. So yeah, I'm going to record a couple of more guided meditations, and we should have a drumming session.
Oh yeah,
I just need to, yeah.
comes out. You've got
I love my drum.
my drum.
I love this.
I like
I
it.
love your it's like Celtic cross on it. Oh look.
I've got. He looks so mad if I don't introduce him later. There you go, Philippe.
I love it.
But
I love it, honestly. No, my drum is, but I love what you're wearing just now, Cath.
oh yeah, my Celtic card. I thought you would something.
It is, it's Celtic, isn't it? I love it.
Yeah, it's like
Wow. Like a poncho type thing.
yeah,
Oh, that's beautiful, Cath.
up. I'm looking all posh from the bottom. I've got trackies on.
Amazing. No, I like the colour as well. I used to not like green because this is a wee funny story. In Edinburgh, there's two football teams that are obviously rivals. One is Hearts, who's maroon, and one is Hibs, who's green. Now, my dad, being a diehard Jambo, as they're called, he was like, don't eat green sweets, you'll turn into a Hibby. Don't wear green. So for years, I didn't even eat green candy. I just away. Obviously, he passed away. And when I became like healer, obviously you get more colourful. I was always wearing black, probably because I was, a body issue or whatever. But I was always wearing black. It wasn't like a goth thing. That's no disrespect against goth people. But when I started getting colour into my life, it was like I was really drawn to green, and it was mad because everything's green now. Like teal, I love teal. That turquoisey, bluey
Yeah.
green. That's my favourite. So I've got everywhere. Everywhere. Yeah, that's what was catching my eye. I was like, oh, I like that. I like that. But it's mad when you bring Reiki into your life, it affects everything. Like just the way with colours, I see colours as chakras as colours, the things I eat, the things I wear, even if I'm visualising, if I've got a sore throat, I'll visualise, it coming through my crown. And people that aren't attuned to Reiki can still do that. They can still call on divine light to heal themselves, because I get friends to do that when they're not feeling well. Reiki has completely changed my life, doing the affirmations in the morning that come with that.
You allow it to change your life.
Yeah. I think I became a bit too, everything's Reiki, my whole life's Reiki. And then it was like I didn't have an identity anymore. It was just Reiki. It's like everything's Reiki, energy. And then I had to just be a bit like, right, remember who you are, Zoe, and you do Reiki. You do, you can lose your that, but it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing.
Everything in moderation is right, isn't it? You can go too far even with spirituality, you can, and then you end up not very grounded because you've spent so much time in the ethereal realm, and so it's important to ground yourself.
Absolutely. Or the other way, I'll do a really grounding journey, and all day I'm just like, hey, what's going on? God, I need a coffee.
We need the balance, so it's all about balance.
Yeah, absolutely. So back to the stones, because this intrigues me. You do little tours to the stones now, don't you? Like you'll take people to take them. So what was magical about the stones that you thought, right, wait a minute, we've got something going on here? Right.
I come across the stones. Well, you see, we're on our honeymoon now. I have to be honest with you. All through my life, my dad's Irish, so I've always been part of like going to visit my family where there are stone circles and megaliths and standing stones everywhere. But they didn't have any appeal to me. They were just there in a field. That's the standing stone. I'd be like, yeah, whatever, because he's not bothered. And then when I met Steve, when I met Steve, now I'm so thankful that I had that even though I wasn't interested in it then, that my dad's dragging around stone circles, and I'm hoping that my kids in the future will be like so made up, because I feel a bit tight when I take them on holidays to stone circles all the time. God love it. But yeah,
brilliant.
Me and Steve were on our honeymoon, and we were looking through, and it was the olden days where before sat navs and before phones, and we were looking at maps. Remember them? So we had our map book. Planning a route of what we were Yeah, we were on our way to Cornwall. And Steve saw this interesting key on the map and it said, oh, it's something about a monument here. Let's go and have a look. And we found Avebury by accident, by complete.
Wow.
I didn't want to go on my honeymoon, and Steve felt the same. Those stones had such a pull to us. We stayed there all day. We ended up camping near the stones. We didn't move on. We were stuck there. They were amazing. And the energy that I felt, I could feel my body vibrating. I could feel my body pulsing. I could feel when you touch the stones. Now I know it's Reiki energy that's flowing through them. But at the time when I first discovered them, I didn't, but I could feel something. So I literally, those stones have called me and Steve back every 3 months for the past 20 years. So we still, every so often I'll say, Steve, the stones are calling me. I'll still say, I know, we'll go this weekend.
Nice.
They shout us, they call us. So that was our encounter with Avebury, and it's called us back every few months. Stonehenge, it's just round the corner from Avebury, about a 15-20 minute drive. It's not got the same pull. Personally, it's not got the same pull. Everyone's heard of because Stonehenge is owned by the National Trust and they can charge you to get in. So it becomes England's most visited monument. But Avebury, 20 minutes around the corner, which has got, it's the biggest stone circle in the world with the biggest henge. It has in the centre, 2 crystal shops, a village in the centre, and no one's heard of it. Why has no one heard of it? It's a village, and so it's not owned by the National Trust. It's owned by us.
We can't make money.
Hard you to get in, so no one's heard of it. Everyone wants to go to Stonehenge. So whenever I'm in the area, I'm always directing people this way. Never bother with Stonehenge, get to Avebury.
Absolutely.
So after going back to these stones every few years for my recharge, this is where I get my energy from. When I'm dipped, when I'm low, stones heal me. That's my Reiki healer, is those stones.
Like your charge. Yep, love it.
I did a couple of years ago when I started this business. I really wanted to introduce people to the stones. I wanted to tell them about the stones, and I wanted to make it the pinnacle of my career would be to hold a retreat to Avebury. And this is the third that I'm doing it. This is my 3rd retreat coming up next month. And so the first year I took 12 people. The second year I took 23 people. I doubled it.
Wow.
This year I've got 24 people. So
amazing.
More and more, so I go and introduce them to the stones. But me being me, Zoe, and you know how I work, there's of course a 52-page lecture all about the stones and everything.
I love it.
I have people lay on the ley lines, feeling the energy of
absolutely, because I'm a firm believer in ley lines, and I'm not far from Roseland Chapel, which lines up with down where you are and everything. Like, and like yourself, and I know this is a hot topic. I travelled Israel when I was younger, but I wasn't on my spiritual journey, and I've been to all the places that are real, and I was just like, all right, the Wailing Wall, all right, like, I can't even remember the name of the gold dome bit, but I've been everywhere. I've been to see a Galilee, but at the time I was just like, all right. But it's funny that, isn't it? Because I think I would have been like, wow. And it's a different view. But when you look back and you think, God, I was at those places that are like really, really magical.
I didn't appreciate what it was,
Not at all. It's just like, all right, yeah, okay. It's funny that, isn't it? I love it. So you do tours up to Scotland as well, do you? Like the stones in Scotland?
What I'm planning, my initial plan for this business is I'm going to do lunar, because it follows the Wheel of the Year, because the Celtic Wheel of the Year is all the festivals. So I'm planning on the 1st of February, which is Imbolc, which is St Bridget's Day. My plan is to go to the Tara and Newgrange and Monaster Boyson Island. On the Bell Festival, I would like to go to Scotland. Now, I was thinking about Lewis, because I went to Lewis last year where I met you. It's about 3 hours on the ferry, so I might go to Orkney instead, because the Stens on just as spectacular, and one I've never seen yet. So scratch another one.
Yeah, nice.
In England, and then Samhain in Wales. So I've got the 4 cross-quarter festivals in England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. But next year now, it will be starting in 2025, because we're now doing a family Avebury so that people can take the children, and we'll teach them all about stuff.
Oh, love that.
Planning on Orkney in April 2020. Beltane of like 6, and the rest of them as well. But yeah, I've got, because I'm, well, you see, next month I'm heading on a crochet retreat, because I also teach crochet, and as you know, got a bit of everything going on. So the Stones tours is my Mandala Holistics my spiritual page, and the
Yep.
is my crochet page. So I've got.
And I'm going to put all the links of all your stuff, your books, your pages, everything in the description box below, because you are a woman of many talents. And when you say you're going to do something, Cath, you do it. And I love that. I honestly, I actually in awe of what you do, because not only are you writing books, you're still healing folk, you've still got your family life, you've still got your boys to raise, and you still look amazing. You still take that time for yourself when the stones are shouting on you, or even you've said yourself, you'll maybe feel a bit poorly because the universe is like, you need a break, woman, and you won't stop. You need to literally be ill to have a break.
Stop. It's that I know that my body's telling me that, because I'll get a sciatica flare up, or I'll get something which makes me sick. But then I'll write a book while I'm sat still.
I love it. Absolutely love it.
And it's fizzing through us, and it's open to it, and we're like a channel for us. I see these ideas that I have as being divinely inspired ideas. So I feel like I work for the universe. So if she gives me an idea, I better do it. I don't want to upset the boss.
Absolutely.
I might stop.
Absolutely. And you've written your own Celtic Shamanic diploma course. That's the one that you tuned me in. And that's all your own work. That's, wow. So you're literally somebody who can do the online courses as well, because you're accredited to that. Is that correct? You've got, you've got so much going on. God, the description box is going to just be like Cath, 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 Cath. I love it. I love it. It's amazing. And you're such a down-to-earth, approachable person. Obviously, in the last couple of years, I've stumbled across other Reiki healers, and wow, some of them are pretty scary.
Yeah.
Some of them are very scary.
That we have is, know yourself, there are two things that will knock you off track when you spirit. But in my, if you start to follow the ego, that can be a route that you off track, and another start to follow the money route. Well, that's not why we're here. We're not here
exactly
to big our ego up. We're not here to make money. We're here to pay the bills. Of course, we need money, but that's not all and end. And we need to try to work on ourselves and our ego. And obviously, we help a lot of people. We do a lot of things so we get thanks, and it's really important to me.
Absolutely.
Out that it's not actually me that's done all this. It's that triangle. It's you. It's me.
Yep. Absolutely.
But some people on board and say, "Oh, thank you. I know I'm dead good." And so it's hard one.
Or it's like a hairdresser that's like, "Oh, I'm going to do Reiki," and it's like, "All right, because I can do that on the side." And it's like they're not doing it because they want to heal people. They're just seeing money. They've got the room.
The intention.
And that causes a healing crisis, doesn't it? Can you explain a little bit what a healing crisis is?
Well, a healing crisis really is a good thing, because a healing crisis is when we're forced to deal with things that we have been stowing away or putting off till another time to deal with. So when a healing crisis occurs, it's usually the toxic energy that is actually leaving our body. So it can leave itself in the form of, we might get sniffles, or we might get a bit of an upset tummy, and that's the actual energy of the toxic energy leaving us. But if the situation is something that's caused us distress in the past, it might come to the forefront, so that the thoughts can leave you as well, because we need to address these things. So sometimes when a healing crisis, it can occur if we rush ourselves into the healing and we're not quite ready, like you just said, the hairdressers and whatnot, that forced on you, because the universe knows what she's doing. So the universe will say, okay, well, this is what you got to deal with. There's no rush. You can't rush these things. It takes as long. But some people do try to rush, and they're usually the people who will have a bit of a healing crisis then. But again, a healing crisis is a good thing, because it forces you to deal with.
Absolutely.
So it's not a bad thing, but it's sometimes
Absolutely. No, I appreciate that. Sorry,
if you're going through a healing crisis, or what I've just described, familiar to, find a Reiki practitioner, and they will be able to help you with that, because it's Reiki that can help. That's the antidote. That's the medicine.
Absolutely. And more, I've been searching for it, but I've been looking for people that call it Reiki demonic, because I've been on Sonia Poulton's show with Sean Ward. She had morning show on and I was on it, and I'd done a guided meditation and I was talking about Reiki and obviously my own recovery about the pharmaceuticals and stuff. And somebody had commented underneath how meditation is demonic, how we shouldn't open ourselves up. Like, do you ever have people that say that to you? I just pray for them and I send them love.
That's
And
how I do it. I wouldn't waste my time trying to convert these people or to change these
Mhm.
people's opinions, because the thing is, everyone is entitled to their beliefs. It is their belief
Yeah,
system. If they feel like they need to get involved and try to belittle other people, that's on them. Do you know what I mean? That's them who have to deal with it. In the past, I would have spent a lot of time trying to convince this person that,
mhm.
I don't know if you remember, I sent you that I put an advert on about a chakra class I was running, and someone written something underneath about prove that they
Yeah,
exist before you peddle me this crap. So I wrote
yeah,
a big long essay explaining and
I
proving about.
remember that.
But what was the point? It didn't change his mind. It didn't. So the thing
No,
is, people are entitled to them, but I don't let their beliefs come onto me, because I have my own strong
yes,
beliefs. And people,
yes,
we all believe the same things, Zoe, the world would be a really boring place, wouldn't it? It's our differences that
absolutely.
was interesting. So I wouldn't. If
Mm,
someone said Reiki is demonic, I would like to know why they think that and where they've got that information from. But I wouldn't go arguing with someone online over it. But if I ever had someone on my
yeah.
bed that, I've heard that this is this, I'll say, well, where have you heard that from? And do you believe that? And have you ever had any experiences? And
Mhm,
I would talk them through it, because unfortunately
mhm.
it's a bad rep by the Catholics, to be honest with you, Christians
It is.
and
It
people.
is.
So it's going to be, but it's really difficult for me too, because I'm an Irish Catholic, and I'm not saying I believe in everything, but I was raised by nuns, so a little bit of it is
Yeah.
no, and
Mhm,
I'm
mhm.
finding things I'm finding now about how much Christianity pinched from the pagans, and I'm like, oh, it wasn't,
Absolutely.
but it's still just,
Yeah.
to me, faith is faith, Zoe. It doesn't matter
Mhm,
what it can be in God, it can be in Allah, it can be in Muhammad, it can be in Buddha,
mhm,
as long
mhm.
as you have faith in something. And it's our differences of faith that causes all the wars and causes all the. I just say let people believe what they want to believe. It's up to me
Mhm,
what they believe. But
mhm.
Christians, but religion has caused so much upset and so much
Absolutely.
wrongers, and
It
it
really
really
has.
the opposite of what all this destruction. And I don't
Mhm,
understand why people need to put their downer on it. That's your opinion and you're entitled to it, but don't
mhm,
I
mhm,
want post it on my pages. Leave my page.
mhm,
So what I
mhm,
say is, not everybody's going to agree with everything that we do ever, Zoe, and
mhm.
that's just life, isn't it? Not everybody's the same. We all are very polarized at the moment, especially. So I just
Absolutely.
I just think people should try to be kind to each other instead of trying to spread
Mhm,
negative. And this is why
mhm,
I respond to people like that, Zoe, because I'm not going to.
mhm,
I'm going to respond and it's going to cause an argument or negative energy between us. I just send them love and light, like you said. That is exactly what
mhm,
I do. A little prayer, send
mhm,
them, and I pray for them, and I hope that
mhm,
they stop feeling the need to push their opinion on other people as much. Because
mhm.
I don't push my opinion on anyone. It's my opinion.
Yeah,
I mean, and so are you entitled.
absolutely.
Someone who I
Mhm,
agree with is
mhm,
entitled to their opinion. Point is, I'm
mhm.
not.
Absolutely.
So I think sending people
No.
light and knowing that they can believe what they want to believe, they're entitled
Mhm, mhm.
just as much as I'm
And
entitled.
I feel it's like not us personally, but people can try and blind people with the light. Do this, meditate, live like this, and people just get so blinded by the light that they're like, right, so it's just too much. So this is in my mind, right? I like open the door a little bit and just let a little bit of light in, and they're
Yeah.
kind of like, oh, wait a minute, and then a little bit more, and it's like those tiny little steps rather than the big picture. So they'll try
How
a
I,
little thing.
how I imagine it is, I'll be a little lighthouse and I'll just stand in the centre during whatever storms people are having around me, just shining my little light as if say, I'm here when you need me. You'll know where to find me.
Right. Yeah,
I'll put
exactly.
my pages active so that if anyone's looking for someone to help them, I'm here shining my light.
Mhm,
But I wouldn't go into someone's
mhm,
box or do all the things that
mhm.
others do.
No,
It's
Grand Rising, would you like a reading? You need some Reiki. We don't do that.
giving
We
everybody
don't
a
need to.
bad name, yeah, giving the real people a bad name. We would never
Absolutely.
boxes and but
No,
so I see it like that.
absolutely.
Open the door a little bit and let a little bit of light in. That's basically what I'm doing, but with my little lighthouse stood in the middle, stood in the middle of all the chaos.
Absolutely. It's
Where are
all
you?
that we can do.
And
I am going to have to pause this for 1 second because my darling son is at the door. So I'm going to pause this, but I'll edit this bit out, right? Hold on when we're back. See, nothing even happened. Nothing even happened. Yeah, I double locked the door and I've got this big fear that I'm ever online that somebody's going to come in my house. So I've locked the door and Dylan's texted me, please can you unlock the door? I'm like, damn. Yeah, like we're at 40 minutes just now anyway, Cath, and I would love to have you back on the show if that's okay. I would love to hear lots more stories. This day and age, with podcasts and stuff, I feel that people like shorter videos but more frequent because we do not have the attention span to sit for hours and a half. And you know what I mean?
That too, can't we? With all the scrolling that people do.
Exactly. No, so if you could, I was thinking once every 6 weeks or something, if you'd like to come back and we can have like a little, that would be awesome. That would be amazing. So yeah, I'm going to end this just now if that's okay. If there's anything that you want to say before we go, the stage is yours.
Everything that you do. So I might not be able to watch things live because we're so busy, but I try my best and I love, and you just keep doing what you're doing. So you just keep opening that door
Thanks.
and open it wide for those of us who need it wide, because you're just doing
Make me cry.
a light. I know, make me cry, so it will return.
No, I know. We've got a habit of that.
Where you're doing so good, you're doing amazing.
Appreciate
So many people are inspired by
you.
Amazing.
And you inspired me, so thanks to you, Cath, because you are literally half of me and it carries on. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Amazing. So, love and light to you, Cath. I'm going to end this recording just now. Let me know in the comments, peeps, what you think. If there's any questions for Cath for the next time that she's on, please drop them in and she'll be more than happy because, trust me and Cath could podcast for days. We have lots to talk about. But on that note, exactly.
Bye.
Goodbye. You're all amazing and we love you. Goodbye.